Hello everybody, how's it going? My name's Scott Wilson. About a month ago I done a Flappy Bird tutorial. I had to create a Flappy Bird game using a program called Stencil. So a lot of people have asked me to finish it, so I'm gonna finish it for you, or try to anyway. I have been playing around a wee bit. Stencil actually brought out a version 3 of the software, so I would recommend downloading the new one. And I also bought a license for Stencil, so I've been able to port the tutorial and a few other games I've been working on onto my phone. Um, so this is the old build that we had, and if I hit test game, I'm just gonna see where we were. So come on, compiling. So when I press space, he's going to jump or fly, flap, and then it crashes. So just a little retry button. Okay, so that's fine, that's fair enough. I'll show you the one I've been working on now, and then I will actually just bring up all the snippets that I've been working on, and you can essentially copy it if you want. So this is my new one, and I have a main menu like so. Okay, so I'll just call it that bird game. I just made this in Photoshop, took maybe 2 or 3 minutes. In fact, I was playing around with 3D features in Photoshop. They're pretty awesome. So tell you what, the first thing that I'll get you to do is to make a new scene. So just create a new scene, call it main menu, and just leave the default sizing. You notice mine's set to 1152 by 640, which is iPhone 5 res. So that's why mine says that. Yours might be 640 by 480. Okay, that's fine. So once you do that, you have this main menu. Then the next thing I'd like you to do is create yourself a play button. Just open up Photoshop and create a simple graphic called play, and save it as a PNG, similar to the previous tutorial when we created the retry button. Or you can even clone. You could even clone the retry button, call it play button, and just edit the frame in Photoshop. So you have a play button. So with the play button, I'm going to show you the code that I've used. It's in fact there's no code. With the play button, you may actually need to make sure you've got a collision box, and under properties I've just left it as a actor group, but under physics I have it set to cannot move. If you leave it at normal, then the play button will actually fall through the level, which is pretty funny if you leave it turned on. The other thing I done was I created a simple background image, again the same way we done in the previous tutorial. I'm not going to show it again, there's no point. So I created a simple background like this, and then in my scene we go into the backgrounds. Come on, feck off. We just go into background, add a background, so there's your background. The main part is under the events. You want to do a few things. So what I have here is I've got two events. I've got an updated event and a created event. In the updated event, I've put in a user input and an if statement. So if mouse is down, the reason why I'm putting a mouse is because mouse is also touch. So this works perfect on mobile phones and tablets. So if the mouse is down on an actor, we choose an actor, which is the play button. So if the mouse is down on the play button, then we're going to fade out the level, switch to the main level, which is our game. And if you don't know where that is, just type it in. What was it? It's switch scene, I think it's called. Switch to scene, or fade out and switch scene. It's also under scene and game flow. So that's how you actually do the pressing the button to change the level. Under the created event, I also have a function called stop all sounds, which is under sound, stop all sounds, and then play music. And I just imported some music that I found on the internet, just music, and I imported them like so. Very simple. MP3s is what you're looking for, and if you're doing it for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux games, you want to do it as an OGG file. So just some music. I'm not going to find music for you, just find your own music. and import it, and then plug in this node. So whenever the level's created, which is the main menu, it's going to play music, and you choose your music. So that's it for the main menu, really. Feel free to pause the video on any of these screens, okay, if you need to copy it, if you want to copy it. But to be honest, it's fairly straightforward. So that was the main menu issue, getting the main menu there. The other thing I also done with the main menu was I selected my main menu and marked it as the starting scene. So you need to make sure it is marked as the starting scene. So when you hit test game, it actually brings you to that menu. Okay. The next thing I done was in actor types, I've played around with the character a bit. So the character still has single animation. Under its behaviors, it's set to cannot exit scene, which is fine. You may notice in the previous tutorial that whenever you die, you don't actually fall out. You can't actually fall down past the bottom of the screen. So to fix that, in cannot exit scene, we're just going to click on edit behavior, go to the updated function, and just rip out the last if statement. That will let you pass vertically on the y-axis at the bottom. So when you test game, you'll notice that you will be able to fall through the bottom of the level. And that is that for the exiting the scene. Just going to switch over to events here and show you what's happening. I replaced the keyboard command, the space key, with mouse press. But I'm just going to explain this actor group. I think it should be relatively straightforward. So what's happening is when we hit a group of obstacle, we're setting our can fly to false. I am just going to bring up the old game just to make sure that I'm comparing these properly. I'm just going to open up my old game here. Just bear with me. Throwing it onto my second screen. So yous may have something like oh, your keyboard's actually first. That's what yous would have had. Okay, so when self hits a group of obstacle, we are setting the can fly boolean to false, which is fine. This is a new attribute that I've put in. I've put in an attribute called is dead. Basically, throughout the game, I want to check to see if our player is dead or not. And to make this game attribute, all we do is we go to settings, attributes, and you want to create a new one. And I've created one called is dead, and you're choosing a boolean from the list and keeping them false by default. So make yourselves a game attribute called is dead, set it to false, and hit OK. You will notice that you'll need to come out of the character script and go back into it to refresh the attributes screen. So all I want you to do is go into attributes, game attributes, and drag in the setter essentially. So setting is dead to true, and that's going to tell the game that yes, we are dead. Then do what? Okay, so you'll see why I've put that on very soon. So set can't fly to false. That means that the controls are blocked, if you remember back to the previous tutorial. We're then telling the game that we are dead, and then we're playing that stupid punch sound. Okay. Now, you'll notice mine now says click. You leave it to keyboard if you want, but if you want to set it to a click, it's just under input and click. So anytime the mouse is pressed, or anytime your finger presses on the screen, then we want to check to see if you are able to fly. And by default, yes, we can fly because it's set to true by default. Then we play a swoosh sound and we just push ourselves up -1, which is the up direction, and I have put 75. I think before it was 70 or something. And then it says otherwise, if can fly is false, i.e. if you die, then you can't fly anymore, then do nothing. That actually blocks the controls. Okay. So again, just copy what I have here and it should be great. I don't really think anything has changed here. Oh yes, I do have the play swoosh sound in there, so again, find yourself a swooshing sound. If I just go to sound, you can plug in this play sound on channel 1. and then you choose your sound. Okay. Again, I'm not going to show you how to bring sounds in. I shown you that in the previous video. Okay. So that's that. That's the character set up again. I'm just going to go into its collisions just to show that the collisions haven't changed. Under physics, it's set to normal, no, and yes. Under heaviness, I have them set to 1 kilo. Under material, custom 0.2 and 0. Under damping, I think I changed this a bit. I set the linear damping, which is the velocity, going up and down, air resistance. So it actually affected the gameplay quite a lot. I've set that to 0.613 if you want to mimic that value. And under properties, it's still set as a player. So that should be the player setup for you. If you want to add in animations, please do. I recommend it. I don't really have the time to start animating stuff, but there you go. Now the next thing, let's see what else I have done. I'm just going to compare with my previous file. I'm going to make sure the obstacle hasn't changed at all. So with the obstacle, upon creation, I'm making sure that it's always active. I think, yes, this one's changed a bit, and I'll show you what's happened here. This is what it used to look like, so they were actually both set as active and it was crashing. This guy here was actually making a crash. So plug that out and I'll show you what to do next. So whenever it's made in every frame, it's checking to see if you're dead. And otherwise, if you're not dead, then it's setting the speed and it's killing itself after leaving the screen. So again, just mimic what I have here. This bloke here, this is dead equals true. Again, we go to our game attributes and we find the is dead. We go to flow, equality, set that to true, boolean comparison true, and we plug that all into an if statement like that. So that's how you get that. And what's happening is if you are dead, then stop the obstacles, set their X speed to 0, which is under actor and motion, and we're setting the speed to 0. And then this new thing here, this is I'll explain in a wee second. This guy here means that if you are on top, if you're in the middle of an obstacle and you're going to crash down, you're going to hit the obstacle because there's a collision on it. So what's happening here is I'm switching the animation around to a copy of the obstacle, but one that doesn't have a collision. So if I go to my appearance, I'm just going to check on my other screen, you'll notice that you only have one called animation 0, and animation 0 has this collision box, as you can see here, which is fine. But this one, I have a second animation called hit OBS, and it's let's see, it's collision. There's no collision at all, essentially. So if you're in the middle of it, you'll fall through it just fine. So that's what I've done there. Okay. So back to events. If you are dead, then kill the speed of the obstacles so that they stop, and switch the animation to hit OBS. That's what I called the animation. And that's basically toggling it to it's the same animation, but no collision. Otherwise, if you are still alive, then set the X speed to -20, which is the speed of the obstacles coming at you. And this thing here, kill self after leaving screen. Essentially, when they come off the screen again, they're dying straight after, so they're not still on the screen. So that is that, guys. The last one here, again, I'll just double check it with what I have. I don't think I've changed it at all. What's happening here is when self hits a player, then we want to play the falling sound. I actually shake the screen a little bit. Set had hit true, setting the X speed of the obstacle. Oh, that's already set up anyway. But yeah, so that hasn't changed at all. So Don't worry about that bit. And that's the obstacles. I have figured out a method for random obstacles that I'm going to be excited to show you, which I hope works. The play button doesn't have anything in it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's all of that. I also have an additional sound called coin. I have a coin sound now, and it should be set up in obstacle 1 score. So this is the scoring, and the score also has the exact same properties as the previous as the obstacle itself. So it's checking to see if it's dead. If we are dead, then kills the speed. Otherwise, play -20, so it's coming at you from right to left, and kill self after leaving screen. I think this bit's a wee bit different. Just bear with me, guys. Oh no, this hasn't changed. Sorry. Score working equals true, so that this is the score screen. I believe. Or no, yeah, it is. It's the score. So if score working is true, then play a coin sound. So again, just go into the sound and find play sound. Stick it to channel 2. Plug in your sound. Setting the score up 1, then it sets the score back to false, so you can't pick up tons of score. And after 1.5 seconds, sets the score back to false. If the score is false, do nothing. So that hasn't changed from the previous tutorial. And under here, under the created, I have make self always active as well. That should probably be up here, but it's not a biggie. So that's the obstacle. That's the obstacle scoring mechanics. What else have I done? Backgrounds, fonts hasn't changed. Scenes, okay. Just going to go into my main level to see if anything has changed. I think my retry button's in the center now. Under events, let's see. Under created event, at the very beginning we're setting the is dead value to false. It is false by default, but it needs to be in there anyway in case we replay the level. Setting the score to 0, so these are just resetting everything. Creating an obstacle at the correct position. Yours might be set to something like 544, because I'm on, again, my resolution's different now. And I'm hiding layer 2 now. Let me just see why I'm doing this. So the reason why I'm doing this is because over on my layers I have this score screen, and we're hiding it by default, and it's called ID number 2, so essentially it's layer 2. So at the beginning it's just hiding the score screen away from you, away from the player, which is grand. So it's hiding layer 2 by default. Under drawing, I don't think anything's changed. It's drawing some score text, it's setting the font up, and it's drawing the score at around here on the screen, top left. And then what happens is, if we are dead, then it's going to draw some text called score, and your final score at the middle of the screen. Yours should be set to something like 250 by 200, depending on your resolution. Under the updated, I don't think this has changed at all. If the character is inside region 0, i.e. if we hit that bottom plane, then set dead to true, and if you are set dead to true, then your controls don't work, so you fall through the ground. And then if mouse was released on this retry button, this retry 3 button, oops, should have done that, because I can't click it. Or maybe it is just the whole button itself. That should, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that, but there you go. Just gonna move that out of the way. That's how annoying stencil can be sometimes. There, retry 3 button. So if we press the retry button, then it's going to fade out and reload the level. So that's the restarting mechanics. Every couple of seconds, it's going to create obstacle 1 at a certain position, and very important that it's set to middle, so it's going onto the middle layer, okay? IE or ID number 1. Yours might say 544 on X if you're using Flash, which the majority of you will be. This guy's probably changed a little bit. I think I did have a pause function there, but I got rid of it. Pause is shit in Stencil, never works. So if dead is true, i.e. we are dead, then show layer 2 again, i.e. layer 2 will show up again, showing your score screen and the retry button. Sounds, I have a coin sound, falling sound, the music, punch and swoosh. The majority of that you should have anyway. Sorry, that's a lie. You'll have a falling and punch sound. Swooshing is whenever you tap. Again, I showed you it earlier. Music, just find some music, plug it in. Coin sound, I showed you the coin sound with the obstacle and score. It's in there. That is it, guys. I'm just going to hit test game and show you what we have. So, that bird game, hit play, click on the mouse or keyboard. I'm unsure if audio will be coming through on Camtasia, but you'll notice that the controls are much more responsive now in this. That's to do with the linear dampening or damping that I set up. So that's it as it stands, okay? Now for the main tutorial now. The objective now is to get random spawning, hiding the obstacles, a bit of cleanup, and I'd like to pause the game at the very start to show you the controls. And that is it. That's Flappy Birds. Sorry, I hate to call Flappy Birds. This is Flying Bird. I actually have a small bug. If you click in the center of the screen, it's still clicking the retry button, so I'm just going to fix that. So under scenes, sorry, not scenes, actor types, I'm going to hit the retry button, and I'm going to create a copy of this. I'm just going to hit this little box down here, duplicate animation. I'm going to call it, I'm going to call it no collision or no C. For no collision. I'm going to go to collision and click on no C animation. I'm just going to delete that out. What I'm going to do is in events, or sorry, not in events, I'm going to go to appearance, mark that as the starting trigger. And under events, I'm going to add a updating event and an if statement. I'm going to see if we're dead. So if is dead is equal to true. If we are dead, then we want to switch animation. Back to animation 0. I'm going to call that, I'm just going to call collision. That's the one with the collision box. I.e., by default, there's no collision. We can't actually press the retry button. Even though it's hidden, you know, the layer's hidden, but we can still press it, which is pretty annoying. So it's going to check to see if we're dead. If we are dead, enable that retry button. So you notice now, it's still buggered. Just a moment. When the retry button is created, switch animation to no C, just to double check. Stencil, why you be a pain? If dead is true, put it back. I'm gonna pause here. Back again, guys. I apologize for that. I'm going to delete that no collision bullshit. I just thought of a much more simpler way of doing it. Going to delete both of those out of that retry function. And if it doesn't work, I'm just going to throw something at my computer screen. So just reverting that back. So collision, yes, test game, make sure it's still broke. And then I'll show you the fix. I apologize for the unprofessionalism. I just try to do this on the spot, really. So in my main level, events, over here, if mouse is released on retry 3, then do blah blah blah. Pull you down, add an additional if statement, and say if, where are you? If is dead equals true. So if you are dead, then, and if the mouse was released on retry 3, then fade out. Now, if that doesn't work, then I don't know what else will. So, perfect. That is it. Working. Another bug squashed. Hit. Dead. Retry button. Working. Another bug is that objects still spawn, so I'm going to quickly fix that for you. That is to do with every n seconds. Every 2 seconds, it's going to create obstacles. But again, we're just going to copy that if statement there. Paste that over. Oops. Get rid of you, get rid of you. If dead is set to false, if we are not dead, then create obstacles. Otherwise, do nothing. Test game. Or I should hit scene. So what it's going to check to see if you're dead, or if you're not dead. If you're not dead, then spawn the objects. If we are dead, don't spawn anymore. Perfect. It's another bug squished. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a like a pause at the start. I think. Should I set a pause at the start? Okay, pausing. So at the beginning of the game, we had test game, and the game automatically plays, which isn't so great. You just fall. You don't have a chance to react. So in the main level, upon creation, we are going to pause the game. Pause game. Now, I don't know if the pause feature actually works in this. I hate the pause feature. Let's put it at the bottom. So that's the last thing it does whenever the level is created. So test scene. I don't expect pause to work. Pause is stupid. Nah, pause doesn't even work. I mean, why they put that in there? I don't know. Stencil sorted out. Pause does not work. So we need to come up with our own kind of pausing feature. To do this, I need to stop the character from falling at the beginning. So I think I'm going to disable gravity for the character. So going back to the character script, or before we do that, I'm going to go to settings and game attributes. I'm going to create a new boolean called has started and set it to false. So that's just going to say, have we started yet? No, we haven't started yet. Okay. And under character, I'm going to create when creating an event. I'm going to say if, gotta refresh that, gotta close that out. Again, stencil, please sort that out. So if the game attribute called has started is equal to false, oops, comparison false. So if has started is false, which it will be false, then we want to set the gravity, or disable, sorry, we want to disable gravity on self. Done. Test scene, test the main level. Now our character shouldn't fall. Which is great. A few bugs in there. Want to go to the main level or the main game. Scenes, main level. Want to put in another if. I'm just going to copy this. If the game hasn't started, or sorry, if it's true, if the game has started, okay. If the game has started, well then we want to start creating obstacles. No obstacles should be made. Perfect. The countdown's going to come in, so we need to duplicate that. Go into our every n seconds. And say every 2 seconds check to see if we're not dead. If we're not dead, create that. But also if the game has started yet, and if the game has started, if the game has started and if you're not dead, create obstacles. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys. So nothing happening, and we can have some sort of a layer saying what you have to do. And then what we'll do is as soon as you click, then that is it. Game is started. So now we need to say, we now need to trigger the doodad, the boolean to go to true. And it's essentially when the mouse is pressed, we want to set what do I want to do? Attributes, game attributes, we want to set has started to true. So if the mouse is pressed, set has started to true. Under created, if has started is false, disable gravity. Just going to stick a little updating event in there. Always check to see if has started is true. If has started is true, we'll then turn gravity back on. And I think that should work, hopefully. Fingers crossed for me. Test scene. So, nothing's happened. As soon as I click, then we have started. That actually executes much better than normal. So that's cool. That's that. So we're up to half an hour. I hope you are still with me, still watching. I just died. I suck. Retry. My retry button is working now, which is great. Now you'll notice there is a bug. The second time you play the level, the boolean called is or has started is not getting switched back. So again, back in the main level, set is dead to false, setting the score back to 0. We also need to set need to restart that bloody level. Scenes, main level, events, attributes, game attributes. Set has started back to false. Test game. It's very important you do test as you go along. Like nearly every click you do, you are testing it. It's really important. Okay, I've started. Notice that the background does move. That can't be fixed, I'm afraid. That one. So as soon as we die, we try, then it's back to default. Click, and the obstacles start spawning. Okay, now we're going to tackle the random obstacle issue. And there's two ways of going about it. One is using something called lists. Lists are like arrays, if you know about programming, anything about programming, and being able to choose from an object in that. However, the one in stencil is pretty damn annoying, and I can't actually figure it out too well. So I've got another method for doing this that I'm going to show you, and it's actually very straightforward. I just gotta see if I have my obstacles imported. I have a feeling that I don't. I only have one of them. I'm just gonna check my source files here. Okay, so you might remember in the previous tutorial we made some of these obstacles like that. So now I am going to import those in, but I'm not going to do it as separate actors. I'm going to do it as separate animations, and I'm going to call this is the first one. I'm going to call this 1. I'm now going to add another animation. Come on. I'm going to call 2. I'm going to keep doing this. You might guess what I'm going to do, and it's very clever. Animation 66. So it's 6 obstacles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then number 2, I'm going to import the image. Assets. So obstacle 2. If you are using the newest version of Stencil, make sure you click standard. You have to hit cancel, or you have to choose image again. Obstacle 2, standard, so that brings in the proper size. Number 3, standard, yes, choose image. And number 6. Like so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Might need to do some of those origin points, I'm not too sure. So now it's gonna break the obstacle. It's gonna break a lot of stuff actually, but I'm gonna have to deal with it. So what's gonna happen is in this script, as soon as the obstacle is created, okay, now it's called obstacle 1. Obstacle 1, I'm gonna rename that to just generic obstacle, okay. But what's going to happen is it's going to switch to a random animation between 1 and 6. And to do that, under events, we're going to add when created, we're just going to switch animation, and we can go into numbers and text and have a random number. This is the clever part of it. Oh no! My plan might be foiled. Nah. That has just put a shitter on my day. What? Sucks. Okay, we are not having a random number between. What do you do? I'm gonna see if that works. This tutorial might be cut short. This is what happens when I don't test it before I try it. And what do you know, it does actually work. With plenty of bugs. I need to actually correct some scales. So obstacle 1. just going to edit these frames externally here just to check their sizes. I might have changed the size to fit iOS, in which case yours will be fine and mine's not. So that's 96 by 640. There's my issue. So yours will probably be working fine, mine isn't. Photoshop's actually having a shit on me. Or taking a shit on me. I'm just going to resize these. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Hello again, folks. So I just re-imported those sizes because I was using mobile graphics. So now whenever I start, you'll notice now that I do have random spawning. It is slightly bugged because the animations are changing. So just do a few things then. Obstacle 1 events. I'm just going to explain this. So switching animation, random number wouldn't plug in, but if I click that and use this as animation anything, it seems to work, so I'm not going to complain. The next thing I'm going to do is go into my collision, and I'm going to start setting up custom collisions here. Now this can take a while, okay, so I'm going to walk you through one of them. I'm just going to delete these collision boxes out. Head obstacle, doesn't matter. So number 2, I'm going to hit add box. A width of 96 for all of them, but the height you need to physically go into your source files. And you need to measure the marquee with a marquee. So you press M for marquee and measure the height of each of these boxes. That one's 160. Or not, or not, you know. Really? Oh, I know why. I really have no luck today with all this stuff. But it's all about problem solving. 213, supposedly. Bottom one. $170. Again, yours will be slightly different. Oops. And again, the joys of stencil. So I am going to pause the video and do this for all of them. So yes, I'm just going to pause and I'll see you again in a few minutes. Hello folks, welcome back. So what I've been doing is just doing the collisions. So number 1 has 2 boxes, 1, 2. Number 2 has 2 boxes. Number 3, and so on. So it took me a wee while to get those, and I used Photoshop to help me for what the size of each box was. So when I hit test game, and hopefully it's the same for you guys, it should work. Now there are issues with it, and I have some fixes for it. You notice that it's using the old obstacles, but now we have randomly spawning objects. Still very easy, but you can add as many as you want. Now notice it is at a constant rate, which is fine. I think the constant rate is good, keeps the pacing good. But the next thing we're going to do is fix the issue with these invisible oh, I died. The invisible boxes, okay? So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to, where are you? Main level, no, yes, no, dashboard, obstacle 1 score. And I'm going to hit edit frame external. Now yours might open up in pencil. I would recommend you open up in Photoshop. To change that, you go into edit or file preferences, go to your editors and change it so that Photoshop is using, or the image editor is using whatever you use. Okay. But what I'm going to do is edit frame externally, and in Photoshop, I'm just going to go to my image size. You don't have to do this, it's only from me. Width 96, height 640. My height of the game is, sorry, apologies, 640. Okay, happy days. Oh yes, the height doesn't actually. Yeah, height 640. Okay. I'm going to delete that entire thing completely, and I'm going to hit save. So what I have is obstacle 1 score. It's just an invisible box, but it's collision. I'm going to delete the collision out. I'm going to add a full collision box. It's just an invisible collision. Okay. It could even be a trigger sensor if I wanted. Now I'm going to hit test game. In fact, I might need to tick sensor. I think I ticked sensor originally. I can't remember now. Essentially, if I hit off it, then I do need it. Yeah. Uber breakage. The sensor is literally just like a trigger as opposed to a collision box. So it's really important that that's in there as well. And what it's doing is it's creating an entire collision box for the whole height, and it seems to work. This is piss easy. I'm gonna make some really difficult challenges. That seems to be it, guys. You'll notice whenever I hit the last thing to do would be probably the trickiest part. Whenever we hit off one of them, we need to set it up so that it turns the collision off for the object. Disables all collision for the object. And the way we were doing it was we were switching the animation of whatever object you hit. But because it's doing it via a random number, it's much more difficult to do. I'm not too sure if I can think of a fix for it. So I'm just going to quickly play around here. I'm just going to pause here. Hello guys, I'm back. Hopefully you appreciate me pausing actually instead of me kind of fumbling over a solution, but it was only a minute or two there. So instead of disabling collision for these actors, I'm going to get rid of hit obstacle, remove frame. I have a much easier way of doing it, believe it or not. I'm just going to disable the collision for my player as soon as you get hit. That's as easy as it can be. So I'm going to get rid of that switch animation bullshit, because it's stupid having that. I'm going to go to my character, and under updated, if has started is true. Also going to check to see if is dead, if I am dead. If is dead equals true. So if I am dead, then I want to switch my animation. I do need to make a new one, so I'm just going to clone him. I'm going to call this dead. And you could actually have this as a death animation. That's my death animation. I'm just going to go to collision and delete it. Oh, make sure it's on dead. Hit delete. Everything else is grand. Just go back to appearance, copy that name, and switch animation. So wasn't that simple, guys? And everyone asking me how to do this. Very simple, really. Once you put your mind to it, think logically. It's piss easy, really. So now that's of course if this works, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. So I'm just going to test the game. We're at 50 minutes now. So game started. I could have some sort of a layer up here saying tap to fly. Here come the random objects. 1, 2. If I hit, whoops, hit the top of it, that's fine. Just gonna hit retry. The collision issue is if you hit inside one of them, like that, then you fall behind the object, which seems to work perfect. So again, we can't hit the top, but we can fall through the floor and die. This is all programmer art, by the way. I am an artist by trade, but I just didn't have the time really to make some artwork. I really hope you've enjoyed this, guys. I did, definitely, even if nothing was really prepared. I do hope you liked it. To increase the difficulty, I would definitely recommend making more extreme obstacles. Like this one is super wide. You know, this game's pretty easy. What you could do is over time you could increase the speed of the obstacles. In fact, I might have a go at doing that. Under dashboard, I'm going to create a, let's see, I'm going to make a game attribute. I'm going to go in settings and game attributes. So this is an interesting mechanic. This is obstacle speed. Oh, I can't spell obstacle. Obstacle speed. Maximum speed. Gonna hit number. Initial value I think was -20. So that's the initial value, that's the initial speed of the obstacles. I'm gonna go to obstacles. I'm actually gonna change that name. Rename that. Under the events, I'm just gonna find the speed attribute. Okay, so otherwise set x speed to -20. And my speed hasn't updated, so I'm just going to update that. Obstacles, events, so obstacle speed, just going to plug that in, and upon creation of the level, I'm just going to go back to main level. I always want to make sure that we set the speed back to -20. I have to restart that. Hopefully we'll get stopping this at an hour. Events, depends what else I want to add into it. Events, attributes, always want to make sure that we set the obstacle speed to -20. And in the main level, I'm going to have another time event. So every 1 second, I'm going to this might be very difficult. We'll have to try it out. But every 1 second, I'm going to set the set the obstacle speed to whatever obstacle speed is, which is -20. I'm going to go into numbers and text, arithmetic, sorry, and type in obstacle speed -1. So it's going to be -20, take away 1 every time. So it's going to be 21, 22, 23. So every 1 second, the speed of the pillars are going to get quicker. which should be interesting. We shall try it. What have I done? So there you go. There's a bit of difficulty in there for you to try out. Why not? I do recommend that you go ahead and create your own artwork. You make something of this. Please reference me, by the way. I'm going to show you something in a wee second. You'll actually notice that they're not spawning quick enough now. That's a little bug. So to fix that, in fact, I was going to show you something there. On Stencil Forge, if you type in Flappy, now I know I copied this from someone, but oh, and look, can't actually find it, so fair enough. It was definitely on here. There was my tutorial, someone done my tutorial with same graphics, everything on there, but please reference me if you are going to use my tutorials. Can't find it now. Never mind. So that bug was every 2 seconds it's creating obstacles. Sorry guys, bear with me, I'm just going to pause here. Hey guys, might actually get used to do something for me. Any smart mathematicians out there, figure out a way to have it so that at the moment I have it every 2 seconds it spawns obstacles, but as they get quicker and quicker, the spacing gets more far apart because 2 seconds isn't actually a lot of time, or it's a lot of time whenever they're moving that quick. So I'm trying to figure out a way to have it moving in relation to whatever speed you're going at, so they're just keep going at a constant rate. I actually can't figure out the math for it, but I had something like every 2 seconds minus whatever your current score is times score, blah 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 blah, and it was kind of working. But if you have a think about that one and put it in the comments for me, I would really appreciate it if you can come up with some sort of a cool math function for that. So yes, that is it really. I'm going to stop there. I'll turn on my audio. Hopefully you can hear that. Hit play. So when we start off, there's swishing sounds. If we hit, you die. Let me try. I think I got rid of the falling music audio because it was crap. I'm dead. Just gonna do one more thing. There's a slight delay in the picking up of coins, or not coins, the score. Just gonna check out that, or see why that's happening. It's not doing it instantly, but it's not a big issue. Used to work perfect, but I'll have a look at that. So that is it guys. Again, thank you very much for watching. Do like, share, subscribe and all that crack. I also have a ton of other video tutorials out there. I'm just loading up my channel here. This is my channel. At the moment I'm doing a video workshop on making minions for Despicable Me. So it's all using a program called 3ds Max. I'm currently doing this at the moment. I also have other 3ds Max tutorials and how to use Photoshop. I've got other stencil tutorials, a bit on web development, audio for games and so on. And another one that I am about to start, well I have started now, is using a program called ZBrush, which is for digital sculpting. So please check out my other videos, and thanks very much guys for watching, and if you're stuck, leave me some comments, I'll try to get back to you, but apart from that, thanks very much for watching.